So we live in Washington, here in our motorhome, and we have a rather large slide. And one of the biggest problems that we have is our slide up here bringing in water when we go to close it. And anybody who's had an RV and had a slide come in knows what that's like. You go to close the slide, and right here behind this, all the way back on the ceiling of the slide, is a big pool of water, especially if you're closing up when it's raining. And there are a lot of ways to get the water off of the slide. Some people, adjust the level of their motorhome in the front. They make it pour off the back of the slide. And that just doesn't really work for me. I've done the thing where you bring the slide in and you're putting towels up here to absorb it, and it's just a mess. And it's always a problem. I've also had water come in here. When you bring the slide in, water's coming down on the carpet. It's just so frustrating. So I want to teach you today my method of how I get water off the slide. It's quite easy. I have this painter's pole here that I use for painting. I actually have this roller that I use for painting, but instead of the normal roller, I use a pool noodle. On the end, I just shove it on there, and I cut it, shove it on there. So this thing does not absorb water. And this thing works like a friggin' charm. See all that water coming off? Great. It works really well for getting all the water out. Okay. Then you bring your slide in, and it works like a champ. Looks like a charm. Look at this. All dry, no water nowhere. Super easy. Just bring your slide in, and you're good. A lot of people just use their levelers. They'll just raise up the front, and they'll bring their levels up. They bring the jacks up in the back so that you're tilted really high forward here, and the water pours off while your slide is open, and that's great. I mean, that works pretty well. I don't like bringing my slide in when I'm not level. I feel like I'm messing it up, but usually I do that, and a lot of water is still on the top. So I usually combine these two methods. I usually bring the jacks up. I bring the jacks real low in the front so that I'm raised up real high. I let as much water pour off as I can. Then while the slide is still open, I get back there with the roller. I roll it out real quick. The water falls down. And then 5 minutes later, it's all dried out. I bring it in, and we're good to go. We're ready to roll. As far as cost, it's super cheap. You may even have all these things already. If you paint anything before, you have a paint roller. You have the pole. You might want to get a longer one depending on how big your slide is. And pool noodle is just so cheap and so easy. Also just adjust it according to your slide. My slide is very long. You may have 3 slides that are kind of short. It's just, the topper can get in the way a little bit, but it's actually, the topper usually has water on top of it anyway. So if you slide like I did, if you slide the roller underneath between the slide and the topper, it gets the top water off the top and the water off the slide as well. So easy.